Scott Frost's homecoming following UCF's undefeated 2017 season felt like destiny to not only the state of Nebraska, but to college football fans around the country. From coaching a Heisman winner and leading one of the most high-powered offenses in NCAA history, to leading an 0-12 UCF team from the trenches and into the national spotlight, Frost earned every bit of the hype that the national media and the football world bestowed upon him. Fed up with mediocrity, poor leadership, and blowout losses to one of their most hated rivals, fans across the state were begging for the prodigal son to return home to revive a program that had been disrespected by its own staff, ridiculed by respected analysts, and ultimately run into the ground by horrific coaching. The team wasn't even doing squats. Frost's homecoming was magical, and despite losing 8 games in his first season, all signs were pointing to brighter days ahead. But going into his 4th year with a record of 12-20, the pressure is on, and many have mentioned his name on a list coaches dread, the hot seat. But as Lee Corso says,
"Not so fast, my friend."
We can't judge this book by its cover. So today, we're diving into 7 reasons why Scott Frost is not on the hot seat in 2021, and why I believe he's going to be the head coach in Lincoln for years to come. What's up, guys? I'm Connor Hayden, and this is Corn Crazed. If you're a fan of Nebraska or the Big Ten, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and hit the like button if you want more videos like this one. Now, let's get into it.
And Martinez looking for the pylon. He's got a touchdown.
Taylor Britt, and a game-changing touchdown. The pick 6.
Number 1. Success with recruiting. It's no secret that the nation's best athletes hail from SEC country, Southern California, and Texas, all of which are more than 500 miles away from Lincoln. Recruiting to Nebraska isn't an easy task, and the previous regime showed us that. From 2014 to 2017, the Huskers' average class ranking was 28.5. Over that same time span, Scott & Co. have an average class ranking of 20. With at least 4 potential draft picks coming out of this senior class, led by Cam Taylor-Britt, who could go as high as the 2nd round, I'd expect another top 20 class in the next 2 years. And before you say he isn't retaining all of that talent, don't forget, attrition is a part of this new era of college football, and coaches around the country are losing just as many players to the portal as he is. Number 2, close games. In Mike Riley's 3 seasons, Iowa won the Heroes game by a combined total of 124-44. Since 2018, the combined score from that series is 84-72, with 2 of Iowa's wins coming on game-winning field goals. Before you say I'm a Scott Frost apologist, let's look at another important stat. Out of the 20 losses since his arrival in 2018, 12 have come by 1 score or less. 4 of those 12 one-score losses came in 2019, when the Huskers had to use a walk-on safety, a punter, and a club soccer player to attempt field goals. The only thing separating these teams from losing seasons and a top 25 ranking is a single touchdown. If they can clean up some of Adrian's turnovers, tighten up on special teams, and reduce the ridiculous penalties, we're going to see this team finish the season ranked inside the top 15. Number 3, strength of schedule. In Frost's first 3 seasons, 1 out of every 3 opponents he's faced has finished inside the top 25 to end the year. To give another Iowa comparison, since 2018, Nebraska has had to play the number 3 finisher nationally, Ohio State, 4 seasons in a row. Iowa, on the other hand, has not had to play Ohio State since 2017. I speak for most fans when I say we welcome the competition and live for the opportunity to watch the best teams come to Lincoln. But for a new coach, installing a new system, and trying to develop young players while changing a broken culture, playing in the toughest conference in college football has done this staff no favors. This fall will be no different. The Huskers have to play 2 teams in the top 4 and likely 3 top 25 teams in a row to finish off the regular season. Even if they were only able to win 6 games this year, it would be hard to justify some of those losses as a fireable offense. Number 4, new athletic director hire. On June 25th, the man who fired Mike Riley and did everything in his power to get Coach Frost to Lincoln instead of Gainesville retired. Struggling coaches typically live and die by their athletic director, and many new hires will fire failing coaches to bring in someone they can trust. I mean, who can blame them? I'd rather put that responsibility in the hands of someone I know, since my job is on the line too. Rumors swirled that Iowa State's Jamie Pollard could take over, leaving some to think the rising star Matt Campbell could be a replacement for Frost. But on July 14th, former All-American linebacker Trev Alberts was plucked from UNO and named athletic director at the University of Nebraska. Trev loves the state and the program the way the fans do, and he understands the struggles Frost has endured since taking over the crippled football program. Here's what the head coach had to say after the new AD hiring was announced. "This is an exciting day for Nebraska athletics and the University of Nebraska. I commend Chancellor Green and President Carter on an excellent choice for our athletic director. Trev Alberts has a great track record of success in whatever he has done, dating back to his playing days through his time leading the UNO athletic department. Trev and I share a love of Nebraska, this football program, and this athletic department. I look forward to working with Trev to continue to build our program." With a Nebraska man in the front office who has known Scott for almost 25 years, it's safe to say Frost and his coaching staff have some time to prove that he's the right man for the job. Number 5, cost of firing him. In 2017, Bill Moose and the university gave Scott Frost a 7-year, $35 million contract, leaving him with $5 million a year as his salary until 2024 or until he was fired. Then in 2019, with an 8-13 record since taking over, the school extended his contract an additional 2 years, showing they were committed to the rebuild through 2026. If UNL decided to part ways with their head coach, the buyout would be more than $20 million. It's hard to imagine the school forking over that much money while still trying to recover from the pandemic financial crisis and having to pay top dollar for another big name as his replacement. But that's just the monetary cost. The bigger issue would be finding a legitimate replacement who the donors and administration believed could do a better job. Other than a decorated history, elite facilities, and the best fans in the country, Lincoln lacks 3 key components that make this a dream job: recent winning seasons, NFL output, and fertile recruiting ground. Even with the recent struggles, Nebraska is still a top 20 job, but there are plenty of big-name coaches who would view it as a stepping stone before landing at a school like USC, Texas, Michigan, or Clemson. If Frost was fired, the most likely options would be a young up-and-comer from a non-Power 5, similar to a Frost UCF, PJ Fleck, Western Michigan situation, or an older coach who hasn't been successful in a few years, like a Bob Stoops, Les Miles, or Jim Tressel. Either way you look at it, the cost of firing him in 2021 or 2022 is too much. Number 6, defensive progress. Mike Riley's 2017 team ranked 116th in total defense and gave up more than 50 points in 4 different games in that season alone. In Frost's first 3 years, his defenses have improved each season, finishing off ranked 88th, 67th, and most recently, 64th. And in that 3-year time span, the D has only given up 50 points twice, both times to teams who ended up finishing ranked in the top 15. Coming from schools that put up points the way Oregon and UCF did, expectations were for an offensive explosion and for a defense that would give up the big play but make up for it with turnovers. We're starting to see the opposite, and with 10 of 11 starters returning, multiple guys playing for a shot at a big payday come April, and the most talent we've seen on that side of the roster since 2011, there are no signs of this changing anytime soon. We may see DB coach Travis Fisher and coordinator Eric Shenander leave for better jobs come 2022, but for now, they have the black shirts in prime position to get the football program back on track. Number 7, too much attrition. Of the 85 scholarship players on the roster heading into 2021, 52 guys, or 61% of the team, are classified as freshmen or redshirt freshmen. With coaching change comes different culture, different play calls, and different player preference. We saw a ton of guys transfer out during the transition of power in 2018, and it would be no different if a coaching change were to happen again. 61% of the roster has 3 to 4 years of eligibility left, and wouldn't have to worry about burning a year to switch to a school that better suits them. And with the amount of money going into the new facilities and an already frustrated fan base who might opt to kill the sellout streak over another bonehead move by the administration, the chance of losing 20% of the roster is all too real. But I want to know what you think. Are these 7 points legit? Do you think there's any chance he gets let go before his contract is up in 2026? Do you think there's a better man for the job? Let me know in the comments below. I truly believe Scott Frost was born to be the head coach at Nebraska, and even though it's hard to watch his teams lose time and time again, At least I know that after a loss, he goes to bed as angry as the rest of us do.